Hey there, Litsa here. Kat and I just got back from the Rapha Women's 100K not that long ago. I've eaten and showered, but here I am. I'm pretty sleepy. I might be a little incoherent, but here we go. Uh, we got up really early before sunrise. We hit the road by 6:50 a.m. because we really wanted to get to the Meteor on South Congress by 7:30 a.m. and we succeeded. We took advantage of the fact that it's Sunday morning and the roads are very quiet to ride down Cesar Chavez because it's a straight shot to downtown, and we passed my very favorite place to get coconut cake, Mr. Natural. Keep that in mind. Vegan coconut cake, it's so good. I think about it all the time. And I really wonder how they get that icing to be just so like whipped and wonderful. Anyway, back to grackle season. It's grackle season in Austin as well. The grackles have their annual convention right around the time the Rapha ride happens. They like to discuss mating and pooping, and they're very loud about it. At the Meteor, the ride organizers were women from the Rapha Cycling Club, and I recognized those ladies to be from all sorts of clubs and teams. And they had the help of Ultraviolet, which is a women's race team. Super nice ladies, super fast. Like all of them, I admire so much. And they did such a good job on this ride. They were kind of leading or like helping out the A group in addition to the RCC ladies doing it. And then Team Snacks did the same, but for the B group. And it's really wonderful that there was a B group because there's definitely newer riders that do this. Like, this is their safe way to get into group riding. And so it's important that it's supportive. And it was. There was no wind today. It was very humid, pretty dang warm. I think the high is in the 90s. Anyway, it don't matter. The first stop was in Mountain City, and getting there was fine because it's just going through the city, like we're a little bit slower, and also it's an ascent, like we're climbing the whole time, but it's such a steady, it's like mild, so it feels flat for the most part. Like the power of the draft is stronger than the power of gravity when it comes to this ascent, this continuous uphill. But I was still nervous about staying, keeping with the A group because I've lost a lot of fitness. So I really wanted to stay with the draft. And I know from experience that it's a lot easier to stay with a pace line if you're towards the front, maybe not the very front, unless you want to get pulled into the pulling rotation. But being kind of like front middle, like first quarter, is nice because the folks up there know how to pace line. They know how to draft. It's way more steady. You don't accidentally get caught by somebody that gets snapped off and now you are too. So that's what I wanted. So I spent some time like riding up along the line and finding a place to cut in and finding like a wheel that I wanted to follow. Now, up front, for a lot of the racers, especially, this ride, even though I averaged 17 miles per hour, was an easy ride for them. So they might have had a gap, not because they didn't know how to draft, but just because they didn't need to. Like, they could easily catch the wheel in front of them if they really needed to. So there was that too. So I kind of kept that in mind when I was looking for the wheel I wanted to follow. There's this hill that is kind of iconic to me. It goes over a bridge. I think that's probably I-35, and that's always kind of like the test to me of how I'm doing. It wasn't so bad. This ride, like the ride leaders did a great job of not gunning it, not showing off. Like, they just wanted to keep the group together, and they did a fabulous job of keeping things steady. So it's not that it wasn't fast, it was just really steady. Which I appreciated. And also, I appreciated Alicia. She's so nice. I caught her kind of like, or I observed that she was making sure that the other ultraviolet ladies that were volunteering with her knew that, oh, we have a group in the back. There's a pretty good gap. So this back group down the road, they're not having the benefit of drafting off of stronger riders. Like, they're drafting off of each other, but they're all back there together. You know what I mean? It kind of goes to show that a lot of the women on this ride was like a challenge for me. It wasn't a challenge for them, but they were using their skill and speed to work, to give everyone else a good experience. We missed our turn and then there were dogs. At this point, we were in kind of the Creedmoor area where it gets really doggy. But fortunately, all the dogs on this ride were friendlies. That doesn't always happen, but in this case it was. So just, the cute ones. I really like the second stop because we, I guess someone on the ride must have known these ladies that own a biomagnetic therapy business down in that area. They let people go into their business to use the restroom in there, and I was one of those people, and everything was in Spanish, and it was like a spa and biomagnetics. I don't know what that is, but it was kind of neat. I don't know. Using the restroom made me miss the A group. So there was like a faction of the A group that got antsy and they really wanted to leave. My only complaint about this ride is the stops were really short for such a big ride, but it worked out for me nonetheless, so I can't really complain. That group went on ahead, and fortunately, those ultraviolet ladies, they had stayed behind to lead, like an A group that isn't in a hurry to leave again, they stayed behind. And then they maintained kind of that pace and that steadiness that we had in the first part of the ride. I noticed on the Strava flyby that front group, we'll call them the antsy ladies, that group got more strung out. And I think it's because there were a lot of fast riders that just wanted to ride fast and like they wanted to get back into town. And that's fine because riding fast is fun and they wanted to have fun. So good for them. But they did drop people. And then my group ended up kind of like picking some of those people up along the way. At this point, the second part of the ride going back north into town is a little hillier. There's more punchy climbing to do, and I don't have the best power to weight ratio. Even when I was really fit and 20 pounds lighter, I was never very good at hills. So my method has always been to catch up with people on the downhill, and like I'm better at sprinting than climbing, so that's what I did. So there was one part where I sprunt I sprunt to catch up, and there was this like turn, and I took it real fast and I felt quite proud of myself. But of course, I did not get that on GoPro. I got the Street because I have like a non-GoPro brand mount, and my GoPro doesn't stay upright with that mount, unfortunately. I just have video of the Street, but I swear to you, it was a good turn. And then after that, I got dropped again, and this time there was like a downhill where I could catch up by the power of aero alone. So when I tucked in, I got so low on my bike that I was resting my sternum basically, or like my torso. I don't know. I was resting that on my saddle. Like I could feel my saddle on my chest because I was like as low as I could go. And I passed people that were pedaling. I just zoomed on in, caught up with that group, no problem at all. It's fun for me. I like that. It's like the thing I can still do. There were lots of cracks. So in the Creedmoor area, it's Crack City, Cracktown, USA road cracks. So these road cracks are all vertical, just the worst type. Last year, a lady actually, like her wheel got in one of those grooves and it threw her and she crashed out, and it was a real bummer. So she's okay, but it's still scary. And so people were calling out, oh, cracks left, cracks right, cracks in the middle, cracks day and night. You get the drift. Jolene's larger chain ring, like she couldn't shift into it. I don't know why. Like maybe she has electronic shifters and the battery went out, or I can only speculate. I don't know, but she had an amazingly high cadence. But I suspect she has a high cadence anyway, because I'd be totally poopered if I had to maintain a cadence like that. But she's a great hill climber. She did fine. There were a lot of cool people on this ride, like just lots of ladies I really admire. We got slowed down by a church. Some church was like starting or ending or something, and they like blocked a road for a really long time, like more than a mile. It took a while. I did not smile. Oh my God. But that definitely affected our average miles per hour. Kat was in that antsy group up front, and she got dropped and was able to catch up to them because of that church slowdown. Like she just kind of rode alongside the cars until she caught them. But my group just stayed behind the cars. So I think Cat averaged 17, I averaged 16, something like that. So I think it cut a mile per hour off probably. And then South Congress is always fun / terrible. The best of both, because a lot of rides, if you go south, you're probably going to come in on South Congress because it's the most efficient way to get back downtown. And it's fun because it's downhill into the river. Like the river makes this valley, and so you're like, wee, bombing downhill. But the bummer parts are South Congress has a real dirty road, especially in the mega southie bit. And then in the northern part of South Congress, closer to downtown, there's lots of tourists, and there's all this like people parking on the street and backing in and out, and it's just a zoo. It's a jungle. It's chaotic. It's a carnival. It's South Congress. So it's stressful but fun. But we didn't go all the way to downtown. We just pulled right back into the Meteor where there was an art fair, which that worked out. But we hung out in the back patio. People were cheering for riders that were coming in. Like a lot of people from the B group were coming in. And so, yay, it was really supportive and wonderful. Laura came in, and she's like this badass motorcycle mama, like lady. And then Leanne, she does social media and photography for Rapha, and she's also a photographer, and she did my photography for Brico Blends. Super nice lady, has the best voice, like just the best speaking voice in all the land. So she was there. It was just a party. And then Natalie, I was really admiring Natalie because she is a leader, and her leadership was really coming through. She did great. I hope she feels good about today. And that thus concludes the Rapha ride. Kat and I rode back in. We stopped at Hop Dotty on 5th, and I got a veggie burger, and Kat got fries, and I got half of Kat's fries. And that's all. It was a good day. I can't wait till next year.